Real-world examples, customer relationship management tools. Just want to give an example now of how all the sales data we learned about can be used in the field through customer relationship management tools, CRM. So in this application demo, you're a sales associate calling on HCPs in the Atlanta territory, and you're promoting a type 2 diabetes brand to endocrinologists. So I'll log in right now. And this would be a dashboard, how you come into a main CRM screen and you see a dashboard. So if you quickly go over it, you'll see your average calls per day is listed here. We talked about that in our call lesson. Your target reach, your target call frequency, and the days left in the trimester. So here you're looking at 8.1 average calls per day next to your district average being 7.4. So you have a thumbs up, you're doing well. Here's your target call reach. You've reached 77% of your HCPs for the current incentive cycle. Your district average is 76%, so you're doing well, so you're green here. For your call frequency, you've only called on your targeted HCPs 1.2 times. Your district average is 1.9, so you're actually red here, you're trending down. You'd have to get your frequency up to get this in green, and you have 24 days left in your trimester to get these numbers where you want them to be. If we drill into this, all these arrows have hyperlinks. We drill into it, you'll see what your key performance indicators are. And this will show you the number of calls per day you made, the district average, and the region average. So you can see where you are trending compared to other territories, districts, and the region as a whole. Over here, you're looking at the calls made to your HCPs by tier. So you've made 75 calls to tier 1s, 54s to tier 2s, and so on down the line. The target reach is showing that you've reached 77% of your targets. Your goal is 90%, so you still have time. You've reached 135 of the 174 targeted HCPs for the trimester. Over here, your targeted frequency, you've called on HCPs an average of 1.2 times. Your goal is 3 calls per targeted HCP. So as we pointed out in the previous screen, you're down here. You have to increase your frequency in order to hit your goal for this specific trimester. I'll go back to my dashboard up here with this link, and I can see my sales data next. I have total RX volume over here. So this is prescription activity. All the HCPs rolled up. This is what that's telling you over here. I have my new RX volume, total RX, and new RX volume. This is showing you all the new prescriptions to new patients. And then I have weekly RX volume as well. This is an 8-week trend. This is the last 12 months, and this is the last 12 months. So that's how you see the different cuts of data and the way things look. On the right panel, I have my top customers. These are the top doctors in my specific territory. Below that, I have the average monthly TRX volume and the last 12 months by individual brand. So you'll see that right now Actos has the most scripts written in the last 12 months for my territory, followed by Invokana, and followed by, it looks like, followed by Januvia, then Invokana, then Glucophage, and then the other products. All these numbers are just made up, but these are actual type 2 diabetes products. And we already saw the trimester to date calls on the previous screen. If I go to the top and I go to a customer list, I can see a listing of all my individual HCPs for my territory. These are my targeted doctors. I have 109 in total over here showing. And as I scroll through, I can see what their degree is in, what their primary and secondary specialties are, what tier they have, their ranking in my territory, the number of calls I made on them for this specific trimester, if they're an early adopter or not, and if they're a PDRP opt-out. And lastly, this is their NPI, their National Prescriber Identifier that we discussed in the lessons as well. If I drill into any one of these doctors, I will pull up the individual dashboard or scorecard for that doctor, showing who the doctor is, their rank and tier, where they went to school, and then I will show the calls that I have made to that doctor over the last 12 months. Over here by affiliations, I have details about the individual places that this HCP practices medicine. more charts about the sales data and the writing habits of this specific doctor. So in the last 12 months, this doctor has written more Actos than anything else. He's written 157 scripts, and it looks like he's written 142 of other brands with Januvia and Glucophage and Invokana close behind. And this is the overall RX by month over month. Well, this is 12 months. This is month over month. And again, this is very, very similar to other CRM tools you're going to see out there. If you drill into an affiliation, you will see where this doctor practices medicine, and you will also see the other doctors that this doctor is affiliated with. So practicing medicine at the Northside Hospital in Cherokee in Canton, Georgia, you have these 3 endocrinologists that are also practicing there. So that's how you know that they're affiliated to one another. Going back up here, you can see this is kind of like just a data dump that we talked about. It's not always the best way to look at data, but some associates like that. So I'm looking at my monthly RX volume by doctor in each of the individual products. And you can see the last month, who wrote what prescriptions, the last 4 months, who wrote what prescriptions, and the last 12 months. This is all my customer data, and I can do that for RX volume, RX share, and then weekly RX volume and weekly RX share. Then we have another view that just takes the summary. So we take all of the individual doctors and it rolls up into a summary. And this summary is all my individual numbers. So my Atlanta territory is right here. Here's the other territories in my region, so I know how I'm doing against them. And this rolled up number is a summation of all the individual HCP's numbers. In addition to my HCP customer list, I also have an HCO customer list. These are my healthcare organizations. These are all the hospitals in the area. When I drill into a hospital, I will see the affiliated doctors, if there is any. Let me pick one. I know there is one. I believe Emory Hospital will have, Emory Johns Creek will have some affiliated doctors, and it does. And these are the doctors that practice medicine at Emory Johns Creek Hospital. And if I drill into any one of these doctors, I will get their specific scorecard popping up, and you can see how they're affiliated to these specific hospitals. As a district manager, I can also select from the drop down to pick different territories and look how those territories are doing and then compare them against one another. I hope this lesson illustrates how all the data we previously talked about gets pulled together and how it can be presented back to a sales associate or anyone else within the organization. Now, for a customer relationship management tool, what happens is I'm going to drill into a doctor. You have the ability to add, edit, and delete calls. That's your data entry into the system. And then you also have the ability to have the HCP sign off on the samples that are dropped. That's the one part. You're managing the customers. The other part of a CRM tool is reporting back to you all the information you want to see so you understand how you're doing with your customers overall. So this again is just an example of one CRM tool out there. Some are homegrown, meaning they're written in-house by the pharma IT companies, but many of them use a third-party vendor such as Salesforce.com or Viva or another tool that specializes in customer relationship management.